Hi and a very warm welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking you on an amazing tour of the geraniums that we have in our garden. I'm going to start this tour with a beautiful geranium that we've grown for many years, and this one is Geranium phaeum. Now, there's two things I love about phaeum. Firstly, if you come and look at the flowers, we've got these absolutely gorgeous dark flowers. So for a geranium, that's quite unusual. Secondly, it's one of those that flowers early. So you get flowers quite early on in the spring. And when it gets to this stage where we've got the seed heads on, also as well, let me show you what happens with the seed heads. So we have our flowers. Once they're spent, they go over and begin to look like this, and then they change, and then we've got, eventually these will burst open and disperse seed all over the place, and we'll have lots more offspring everywhere. So this is how they look once they've finished and they turn into seed, and eventually you will get lots of seed. However, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is prolong the flowering. Some geraniums, or some hardy geraniums, they do not repeat flower, but in my experience there's only a few that will not flower again for you once you cut them back. When we get to this stage, it started to look untidy. As you can see, we've got grasses there at the front, we've got foxgloves or digitalis here next to it, and digitalis, we've got a few flowers left on. However, everything is starting to look untidy. Now digitalis isn't going to flower again. So what I'm going to do here is cut this back, and that way we're going to get lots more growth coming up from the base and more flowers. Now it's not going to grow to the same height when it grows back. That's been our experience over many years as well, a lifetime of experience, but it is going to grow back and flower again for us. Also, something else about Geranium phaeum is that the bees really love it. It's one of those plants, again, it's to do with their eye, with the way that they see things and the colour. This is really attractive to them, and so you will find them a lot. There's one there, couldn't make up his mind, but it was the geranium or the foxglove, but they love it. And what I'm going to do now is cut it back. I'm going to show you how to do that, and you do this with any geranium, even the ones that do not repeat flower. Once the foliage starts to look really untidy, it goes a bit brown, goes a bit old, and you want to rejuvenate the plant and keep your garden in tip-top condition and looking great all year round. Just because it doesn't repeat flower, it doesn't mean to say that you can't cut it back and get lots of fresh foliage in order to make things look better, because that's what it's all about. It's all about when you come into the garden and you're bringing people and you're showing people around, you've got relatives or friends over, and they're looking at plants and they're looking at, well, I'll be honest, the state of your garden. It's nice to have things in tip-top condition. I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you come on over here, my cameraman, what I will do is show you how to cut this back. It's so easy. I'm using scissors because we've got a lot of secateurs, but they're all seizing up at the moment. And you will go back to the base. There's two plants here. So one plant is there, two plants, okay. It's probably the same plant actually, and that's compost on top. But what you do is you go right back to the base and you cut right down. It seems brutal, but it's not. I'm going to leave those two on because that's okay. We'll leave those there. Again, back to the main plant. Just get it in your hand like this. You can squeeze it and just go right back. It seems brutal, but in a few more weeks, not only will you have lots of fresh growth, you're going to have some amazing flowers on there as well, ready for the bees and ready for you to enjoy in the garden. Geranium phaeum is so easy to grow. We used to collect geraniums in one of our previous gardens that we lived there for many years. It was a beautiful garden, as is this one. And we used to, there's one I've missed. We used to collect them. However, next door to us, and we used to visit a local garden centre, and they used to have this growing in a flower bed. And our neighbour, Pauline, beautiful neighbour, lovely lady, I miss her very much, she used to grow this in her back garden. She had lots of it because it can handle a little bit of shade as well. It can handle shade. It's okay. It was growing quite well at the back there. She got minimal sun, and it just spread along one of her borders. And we asked her about it, and she gave us a piece. And we're asking about it, I think either previous or after this, at the garden centre. And the guy at the garden centre dug us up a clump as well. So we ended up with lots of this. So it does bring back happy memories, but it's a really nice one to grow. And as I say, the bees love it. If the bees like it, you should be growing it. In your garden, what you want is plants, trees, whatever that the bees enjoy. We need to keep those, and other pollinators. So the moths as well, and think of the butterflies. They're all things that we need, all pollinators we need to be looking after, not just bees. But the bees are very, very important. But all pollinators we should be looking after. And remember, before you think all moths they're not nice. They're pollinators as well. They pollinate, and so yeah, we need to be looking after all our pollinators, whether they're nighttime pollinators like the moth or daytime like the bees. So we need to be looking after them. So what I'm going to do is place those at one side. I'm going to go on to the next plant. I'm going to walk around with my scissors just in case. That looks better though. Notice how the ground looks neat now and tidy. I have left a few on there. Get rid of that. I've left a few little pieces on because they're not going to do any harm, and they'll just come up and add to the plant when it grows back. Well, that's going to grow back into an amazing plant. I will show you its progress. I'm going to do that. I'm going to come back and just do something about its progress. I'll mention it either in a regular video, or I will do just a little one about this. I want to go next to two geraniums that we've grown for many years. In case you didn't know, geraniums used to be for many, many years my passion. And these are two hardy geraniums that I would not be without. The first one I want to talk to you about is Patricia. So Geranium Patricia. Let's keep it simple. Geranium Patricia, growing here. Now there are some plants here. We've got a lot of flower at the front. There's either 2 or 3 plants. I can't remember how many was put. There were 2. There were actually 2 placed in this border when it was planted. The one at the back is not flowering as well. She's flowering, but she's not flowering as well as what she might do. However, if you look at these, that beautiful magenta flower, it's stunning. It's a really nice one to have. It's when you think of a cottage garden, you think of plants like this blowing in the breeze, just like they are now. And it's one of those plants that is really nice. It does have quite a big leaf. If you're looking for something bigger than Patricia, much taller, so a great height but similar coloured flowers, Geranium Celestemum as well is a nice one to grow. It's one of the parents of Geranium Patricia, so there's an interesting fact for you, but this is one that you should grow. I'm going to tell you a companion to Geranium Patricia, and it is Geranium Brookside, and I want to show you that now. This plant has been flowering its head off all through the summer so far, but we've still got lots of flowers on there, and as you can see, some of the best flowerings going on through there. But when it comes to plant combinations, back in the day in one of our other gardens, the garden I was talking to you about, where we grew our geraniums, we did used to grow Geranium Brookside and Geranium Patricia together. Now you're wondering, well, why did you do that? And that is so obvious here when you see the colours. You've got the blue and the almost magenta flowers together. When you put those together, that is an award-winning combination. A good one for budding garden designers out there: grow Geranium Patricia and Geranium Brookside together, because, and en masse, they look splendid when they're next to each other and intermingle and growing through each other. They do look amazing. You can see the effect there. This is Lichnis coronaria, but you can see the effect of what Patricia will be like running through Geranium Brookside. Geranium Brookside is another one we've grown for many, many years. I like its habit, but if you look in the centre, he was being a bit sprawly, and he can do that. However, what we've done is placed these rings in. So we've got a nice ring there. You can buy these from anywhere. If you go to the flower shows, you'll see these on sale. A lot of the time you can buy them online. You can buy them at your local garden centre and your local plant nursery as well. Really, really nice. But look at that. it just keeps it in check, because yesterday Brookside was sprawling. He was just lay flat out in the sun all over the pathway, and we end up walking all over him. We don't want to step on him. So there you go, we've got him looking amazing. But just remember that combination, and that works with any plant as well. When you've got two plants that are flowering, just felt some rain, that are flowering at the same time, and they're those colours. But we're on about geraniums, and honestly, you will not be let down with this. Again, what will happen, this is starting, in my opinion, to go over. Other people will say there's loads more flowering left on that, but when it does, this is going to get a cut back as well. I'm going to cut right back. Come back in, cameraman, please. I'm going to cut back right in to the base here, and what I will do is take all this growth out, the whole lot, so all the way around, and it will just be a circle, a crown of stems that have been cut back to the ground, literally in the base of the stems coming up to the ground. That's all it will be, and it will grow back just as amazing as it is here. This one will be a bit sprawling, great when he grows back. He's quite a toughie, but I love having Brookside in the garden. It's such a beautiful one. Now, what I'm going to do is bring you down our magical garden to this geranium here. This one is planted where we laid Honey to rest, our house cat, beautiful house cat, lovely old girl, miss her very much. This is Geranium Nimbus. Now Nimbus, and again another one that we used to grow, you know, as I say, I used to collect geraniums wherever I went to. There's not that many in this garden, but we did have lots in our other one of our other gardens. And this is a really beautiful plant. I like the colour, I like its habit, I like the flower shape. And I think Nimbus is one that you really do want to grow in the garden. When you cut it back, you do get some flowers on as well, will repeat flower. I think it's stunning, and you can just see the effect it has. It's a very traditional cottage garden type plant, very delicate flowers. They just look so lovely, very pretty. They're definitely pretty. We have one over here that I do want to show you. I don't know the name of this one. I know in Sheffield we used to grow Wargrave Pink. I can't remember what this one is. It isn't that. But this has been in this garden for many, many years. A lovely pink variety. Very nice. He's growing next to Robbie the Robot's resting place. And it's a nice one to have. We just leave that here to just do its thing in the corner. However, my favourite of every single hardy geranium that I've ever grown in my life is this one. I want to show you this. It's the best. This one is Geranium Splish Splash. Now, when we bought this for the first time in our other garden that I always talk about, but the one I used to collect geraniums, this was known as painter's palette as well, and there's a reason for that. Every single flower is not the same, and you get these splotches of beautiful blue or purpley blue running through these white flowers, and every one, if you notice, is completely different. No two flowers are the same. They've not got the splashes in the same place. So you've got these flowers, and every one is unique, and that's what I love about it. When it comes to geraniums, I'd say this is the best. I love these when they're finished as well, and these lovely big heads there. Look at that. This is a geranium that will not repeat flower. It's come from originally the meadow crane's bill, so it's Geranium pretense, and it doesn't repeat flower, and that is so sad, because look at those flowers. I would want to see that all year round, and the reason why this video has been done today is because I needed to do this before, as we see, we get these big seed heads forming, and I just did not want to lose the joy of showing you this. It did look better a week ago, but we've had all that scorching hot weather, and it's just not been the greatest time to be. We've been more concentrated on making sure that everything survives the heat rather than and it's survived perfectly, but rather than filming lots and lots of videos. But I did want to do this tour before the heat came. However, I'm doing it now, and just look at how amazing that looks. It's so lovely. It really is. I love the way that every one is different. They're not the same. You're never going to find exactly the same flower on that. So this is one for you. Geranium pretense, Splish Splash, also known as, some people might call it, painter's palette, and that's what we bought it as many years ago, but it's called Splish Splash now. And I just think if you've not got that in your garden, that is certainly a talking point when people come around. Because let's face it, we like to talk about things as gardeners, and non-gardeners as well. They show an interest. They think, well, what's that one? I really like that. And it just adds some interest to the proceedings, and it's something to talk about. I can always find something to talk about, as you know. Now, moving across. This is quite a well-known geranium. You would have seen this at the flower shows over many years. It's used in flower shows and many people have it in the garden now. And it's a beautiful geranium called Geranium Rozanne. And Rozanne has been out for a number of years now. I'm going to be honest with you, for some reason, the flowers, for some reason I didn't like it. It's not that I didn't completely like it, I just wasn't bowled over by it and I wasn't impressed. However, that has changed. These saucer shaped flowers, I think that's what did it. I just didn't find them as interesting as what I do other flowers. This is sterile, so this plant is sterile. However, you grow it for the long flowering season. I'm loving that refreshing rain that I'm getting onto me right now. You're growing it for the fact that it's long flowering season and the beauty of it. But you're getting a long flowering season, and to be honest with you, that's what you want in a garden. You don't want something that's brief and just there 1 minute, gone the next. This is a plant that stands the test of time. It comes up year after year, it does its job, and that's why people use it in flower shows when they're building gardens, and that's why it's like that. It's quite a tall geranium, it's lovely. It's growing really, really well. Again, come and look. I want to show you what you can do with all your plants, not just geraniums, but especially geraniums. When they're sprawling all over the place, you can give them a support. And again, another metal ring. And what you do is, otherwise this will be all over the grass, okay? That's the way it is. That's the way plants grow. They like to sprawl all over the place, and we don't want that. We like them to look good, and that looks good. It looks like it's natural because the ring is hidden away underneath. It looks really, really great. There's another geranium, a sneaky one that's in here. We used to have it, lots of it in this bed before, all the way around, if you remember the early videos, those of you that have been with us a long time. This is Geranium Macarizum with these lovely white flowers. Feel the rain. I'm going to end this video soon. These lovely white flowers. Also the foliage. It's quite a unique scent as well, especially when the rain's on it. It's really lovely to touch and smell really, really nice. And this one has the most gorgeous white flowers on, and the seed, when it starts to close, once flowers are over, you get this beautiful red, and they look fantastic. Now, I'm going to end this video here because we're absolutely about to get wet through, which I like being wet in the garden, however, not when the camera's being wet. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care. I want you to click the like button straight away. I really appreciate that. Also, any socials, share our videos on social media, and anyone that you think might be interested in them, get our message and passion for gardening across there. Please hit the hype button. You have a hype button now where you can hype the video. That's brilliant as well, all appreciating. Any comments, as always, drop them in the comments box below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care, and we will definitely see you on the next one. Rushing in with the rain, I forgot to tell you about this amazing geranium, and this is one that you must have as well if you have a lot of shade in your garden or a shady area. This is Geranium nodosum, also known as shade-loving geranium. Really gorgeous geranium, as I say, loves the shade, and that's why it's growing in this corner. Lovely, beautiful coloured flowers. This is a repeat flower, so you can cut it back and it'll flower again. A really lovely one to have. We've had it for years, and it will grow in shade. You've got to have it if you've got those shady areas that you want to fill, and what better plant to grow. Also, there is a white variety for this, so you could look out for that one as well if you didn't fancy this colour and you wanted white instead. But a really great geranium, and I recommend this one highly.